Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Corcoran Entertainment Show. I'm your host, Franky Corcoran. How we all doing today, guys? Summer's going good so far. Just a little disclaimer before we continue. If you guys notice during this part, and then also during the interview, if you notice that my fan is going strong, it's blistering hot right now. And so apologies if that's an inconvenience, but it's kind of funny, like when you're doing this, I should probably just set up a whole outdoor studio. That would be so much better. That would solve all of my problems. So yeah, just a little disclaimer on that. I'm sure everyone understands. Once you're in the heat you're just kind of like, there's no need to apologize. Anyways, yeah, so we don't have much in terms of events in the near future. We're working on some stuff. We're currently right now we're in pre-production for our fall show, which I'm super excited about. Not going to divulge too much information on that, but we do have something coming up for the fall. It's going to be big. It's going to be great, and I cannot wait to reveal what we're doing. Also, we got a couple other things we got in the works for us September. I'm being very, very coy on what I'm saying, but we do have some stuff coming up. I just don't want to announce right now until things are, set in stone. But we're working on some stuff. Also, stay tuned. Love, Loss, and What I Wore. We are, of course, doing our encore at some point this year. We're still kind of figuring out dates. So for anybody wondering about that, that's your update on there. We're still working on getting that again. So, yeah. So that's all the updates on my end. So let's just go on to the guest, because that's why you guys are really here. That's what you guys want to hear. My guest today, very, very excited to have her on. Her name is Abby Slipp. For those of you guys who saw the Bell Fibe TV-1 series, Auditions, she, of course, played Andy. Was very, very excited to have her on here today. And I mean, Auditions, it's just lots of talent. There were lots of talent on that show. And it's also amazing that it's local too, it's just something that it's almost a bit surreal that something like that happened here in my hometown. It's just so awesome. So, great conversation with her today. We talk a lot about, her auditioning, the Halifax tax credit, and among other things. We talk about a lot of stuff. Very, very talented actress, and super excited to see what she does next. And please enjoy the conversation we had today. Later in the show, I want to give my thoughts on TV shows canceled TV shows, rather, that deserve another season, that really deserved another season, that were canceled before their time. And I want to talk a little bit about probably one of the biggest actors of our time right now, Giancarlo Esposito. What's going on with him in the MCU? Let's talk about that later on. But anyways, guys, without further ado, just sit back, relax, and enjoy today's podcast. All right. Hey, everybody. What's going on? Welcome back to the Corcoran Entertainment Show. I'm your host, Franky Corcoran, and today I am joined by a actress who she said this is her first ever interview with regard, any type of media appearance aside from, of course, Auditions. She, of course, played Andy in the Bell Fibe TV-1 series, Auditions. Abby Slipp. Abby, how's it going?
Good. How are you doing?
Good. Pleasure. It's an honor that you chose this podcast to be your first ever interview, podcast. So thank you for choosing me. I really, really appreciate that.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yes, of course. Of course, as I mentioned, we first met at the Auditions premiere, which it's crazy to think it's been 6 months or so since that happened. But
yeah.
How has the reception been for Auditions, for your character and just the show as a whole?
Oh, it's been fantastic. I've heard people have been so kind about the show. I think it was number one on the network for a week when it premiered. The reception's been fantastic. I remember Jimmy made a post one day about my performance, and just it was so encouraging and so kind, and all the comments were just so sweet. And I saw that after I had a really long day at school, and it was just the sweetest thing ever.
Yes, I think I saw that too. It was like straight from Woodstock. Woodstock, correct?
Yeah, yep.
Oh, okay. Also, so how does it feel now? I mean, going from Woodstock and then you're getting this gig in Miramichi. Like, how does it feel that now you're like a working actor? Like, we've always dreamed about it. People like myself or like you are always just like, I'd love to just, go off and do some acting and stuff like that. Does it feel a bit surreal? Like now that you're actually like, holy shit, I'm part of like O'Donnell's, you know what I mean? Like, how does that feel?
Yeah, I still can't believe it most of the time. Like I can't believe that like I was on a TV show, and I can't believe I was on something that people watched. Like that's just insane to me. And that I can just like go turn on the TV and watch myself. Like that's crazy. I do that way too much.
You're like, I was part of something that people actually watch. So what were you part of before that people didn't watch? You did theater before, right?
Yeah, I did theater before. I did a couple short films. When I was 12, I made a short film and it went to a film festival, but it was like the lowest quality thing you could ever make. I made it on a camera. I went from Tim Hortons. Like it wasn't very good.
But it's a start. It's a start. Like that's
Yeah.
something you got to be proud of that. Like we all look back at. I can't remember who I was talking to about this, but it's funny how we are always so critical of all of our old projects that you almost want to pretend that they didn't even happen. Are you kind of like that, where you look back on all the old stuff you did? You're like, I don't want people to see that. Because to me, I think it's a good thing that you leave that stuff out there. Because I mean, you could look back on it and then compare it to how it is now and go, yeah, like I've come a long way. Are you like that, or are you just like delete everything that I did?
Well, I mean, there are definitely some. I did the school news and stuff when I was when I was in middle school, and there are definitely some embarrassing videos of me out there. But no, it is good to see how you grow as an actor. It's good to see how far you've come, and like especially as an actor, there's so many days where like you're just waiting for an audition to come in, or you're waiting to hear back from something, and it's good to look back on an old self tape or an old project you did and be like, wow, I've come a long way since then. Like I was just a kid dreaming when I first started this, and now I'm actually somewhere, you know?
Yes, you're on a TV show, which is crazy. Not many people get to say that, which is awesome. But so, like I said, you kind of started off in theater. Did you ever think that that's what you were going to end up pursuing TV? Did you think you were going to do theater, or did you kind of just go with the flow?
Well, I started with theater because it was pretty much all that was available to me at the time. But like my dream was always to do television. My passion is television. I never thought I would get there, but yeah, it was definitely theater was a great place to start. It's funny. It's a funny story actually. When my first theater thing, I was in middle school, and my director or the director was like, I auditioned and everything, and I thought it went really well. And the director called my mom and was like, she shouldn't do theater. She should stick to band. And and I was kind of a little disappointed at the time. It was because I had to choose between either band or theater, and she was like, no, she should stick to band. But I went to every rehearsal I could, and eventually they gave me a line. I showed up every single day, and they gave me a line.
I love that. I love that. But you didn't give up, though. That's what I love. You didn't give up, no matter how hard it got. Are you glad that you stuck with the acting and didn't stick with band, or how do you feel about it now, all these years later?
I ended up doing both, but I'm glad I did stick with the acting. Yeah.
Oh, okay, which is good because, like we said, look at you now. It's crazy to think. I mean, of course, as I mentioned, we were talking earlier about, of course, you're from Woodstock, and now you're doing the show in Miramichi. What's it like? I mean, like, did you ever think, because people always say, like, where you are, if you want to pursue acting, you're not going to be able to do it here. You're going to have to move off somewhere. Did that ever cross your mind at all, that you're like, if I want to pursue this, I got to go to Toronto, I got to go to the States? Like, was that ever something that you had considered?
Oh yeah, for sure. Because like, That's what everyone tells you, right? Like you need to move to Toronto or Vancouver or something. But it's actually my agent who, when I first reached out to her, I told her like, look, I really want to get into acting, but I'm based in New Brunswick. And she was so sweet and so kind and said, yes, absolutely, let's make it happen. And so she's based out of Halifax, but she's been so encouraging, and like there are a few projects going on in New Brunswick. Like there was Odons, and there's always some commercial work and stuff like that. So like, yeah, it's a smaller market, but when you have a smaller market, you only have 20 people going up for a role, versus if you move to Vancouver or Toronto, you have 100 people going up for a role per se. So
Yeah. There's always 100 of you out there, but only one person can get it, and that's always the tricky part about it.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, you've been lucky that way. I mean, like we were talking before about the Halifax Nova Scotia tax credit, which has, you know, it's been rough for people out there, you know, to get work and stuff. What do you think about that? I mean, like, that's just crazy. Just everything that's been going on out there with you know, the tax credit. And I mean, like, it's already hard enough. It's already difficult as it is to find work in this field. So what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean it's good if you live in the right place. Like if you live in Halifax right now, like you're doing great. Like there's a couple NBC shows shooting there right now. But it's and this is really no one's fault, but like it kind of sucks if you live in New Brunswick and you're an actor, because there's so many actors around here. Like they're willing to drive to Nova Scotia for these parts and these roles, but because of the tax credit, they're not allowed to even apply, which is kind of frustrating. But it's part of the industry right now. So
No, that's all you can do, though, right? Like that's it.
Yeah.
I wish there was a better alternative, because now we're just like, nah, that's life. Shit happens. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So going back to Odons, I was kind of curious. So how did you get the role of Andy? Like, what was that like? You auditioned for? Did you like what was the whole process like? And then what was your reaction when you got the role?
You know, it's funny. I almost missed the audition.
Oh, oh shit.
Because for some reason I got the email on my laptop, and not my phone, and I hadn't checked my laptop in days. And then I checked my laptop, and my agent had emailed me like 4 days before it was due, and I was like, "Oh my goodness! Like, yes, of course I want to sign up for this. Like, I want to sign up to audition for this. Like, how do I? Is it too late?" And she was like, "No, it's okay." And then eventually I got a self-tape request for Andy. And that I also, like everything else I do, I did that super last minute. It was like, I remember it being like probably like 10 o'clock at night before it was due. My brother was my reader. He was getting grumpy with me because I had to do so many takes. But that was actually it for the audition process. It was just the one self-tape.
Oh, wow. And so when you got the part, was it an email? Was it a phone call? How was that?
My agent called me.
Oh, okay. That's pretty good to have the agent. Like that's every time that your agent calls you, is it always like, are you nervous? Do you get anxious? You're like, oh shit, please tell me it's good news. Please tell me it's good news.
Well, if she calls me, I know it's good news.
Okay, that's good. That's a good thing.
Oh.
Yeah. No, yeah. So you auditioned and you did great, and they gave the part to somebody else. But like, thankfully, it didn't happen that way. And then, of course, you know, went down, did Odons, and I had no idea about this, but you said that Andy was originally written as a non-binary character. What can you tell us about that, and what changed?
Yeah. Well, I actually have the character description, like the very first one here to read to you. It's quite different than what ended up being on the show. So Andy has always been an outsider in Port McGee, and honestly, that's how they like it. From a young age, starting with, are you a boy or a girl, and all the way up to today's tattoos are permanent, you know. Andy has never given much weight to what the small town thought about them. Funny though, how the person everyone seems to be the most confused about is the first person everyone seems to come to when they need answers. Almost like Andy has no tattoos. The age said 25 to 30. I was 20 when I shot that. we didn't end up going with a non-binary character. I honestly think that Andy was a bit of a wild card during pre-production because I was looking through the scripts. I looked through today just to confirm this, but her pronouns change all the time. They go from he, him to they, them to she, her. So
Okay.
I don't think they had really settled on a gender for Andy until I was cast. Um, and originally they were casting for a non-binary actor, but I think it's a good thing that that Andy was no longer non-binary because just because I think that a non-binary character should be played by a non-binary actor.
Yeah, exactly. Just it kind of just and then because like that part's so tricky because it's almost like I mean no matter what people people will always say certain things about certain movie rules. Oh, well, why is that person playing that? That person's Italian. He's not Italian. And then that's where all the controversy comes in. I was talking with someone the other day. It was about Bradley Cooper with Maestro, where of course he had to have the nose prosthetic, and people were comparing. Oh, it's offensive to the Jews and this and that. It's like no, that's just who he is. Like, what's your take on that? On just how you're just trying to be faithful to a story. And there's always going to be people out there that are going to say, oh, they shouldn't do it that way or they shouldn't do it that way. Like, have you just learned the art of just someone said this, the art of not giving a shit, which is just like, just don't care what anybody says. How do you adjust to that?
I mean, I didn't know that the character wasn't non-binary until I got to set. So
okay.
I went in thinking I was going to play a non-binary character, but I was really nervous about that because I didn't think that I could do it well. And I didn't I don't know, I didn't think I had the right experiences. I didn't have the right I didn't have the right experiences to be able to portray a character like that. It's like it would be the same thing to me as like if I were playing a boy instead of a girl. I wouldn't have the right experiences to play that, And
shave your head and do it.
Yeah, sure. I'd look great with buzz cut, I bet. But like about what other people think, like I don't know. I don't want that to be the reason why I do anything. But unfortunately in this industry, that is a big reason why you choose what roles you do and stuff like that. But I think for me it's more about can I play this character authentically, and should I play this character?
Exactly. Like you look at it, like some people might just look at a role and just say, okay, that's great. Let's do it. Don't do any research, nothing like that. Just jump right into it. But it's good that I like that you actually do your homework, which is really good. I mean, some people, they want to know what they're getting themselves into, which is good.
Yeah.
I say my favorite scene from O'Donnell's, hands down, it had to be during episode. It was the finale where it's the big rush. So of course you get Jimmy there. Assume your positions, and you guys are out in the battlefield. What was it like shooting that scene? Because I think we've all had that. I mean, like with any job that we might have had, where there's the big rush. And you're like, fuck. You're like, there's just it literally feels like a war zone. Like, what was it like shooting that scene?
That was a lot of fun. I think that might have been one of my last scenes I shot. I can't remember, but I remember there was a little bit more to it than what was there. And it was funny. We had the hardest time with the chit because the thing that the orders come through in the back.
Oh,
it's called the chit. So they would like put it through like in the front of the house, but it would make this terrible noise. Not terrible noise, but like you can't talk over it, like when you're trying to act. So like I'd just be standing there like waiting for the chit to go and then say my line. But it was a lot of fun, especially working with Jimmy and Taylor. Like they are so good at keeping the energy up. Like when it's because like of course the front of house and the back of house, like they were shot separately. So like the big rush scene like in the front of the house, that was shot the next day. So in the back it was just the three of us, and it was the same as all the other kitchen scenes. But they're so good at just keeping the energy up and just making it so fun. And Daniel Bask, the director, he's also so good at that. Yeah, it was so much fun.
Yes, Daniel. Oh my gosh! Shout out to you. Well, actually, yeah. Shout out to the whole cast. My God,
Yeah,
because if we
phenomenal.
shout out one of them, we're gonna have to shout out all of them. Daniel is so good at what he does. Jimmy, of course, has been on this podcast like I don't know how many times now. And Taylor. Oh my God, I was just going through like his resume. He's done so much, which is crazy.
I know, right?
Like seeing like he's like this, award-winning filmmaker. I'm like, holy shit, that's insane. And you guys had such a good rapport. I really liked you guys were like the who's a funny duo. I don't know, like I don't know, just some funny
Thanks.
duo, like
Yeah.
like I don't know, a Corey and Trevor from Trailer Park Boys, except you guys are
Yeah.
smarter than them. But
Oh, thank you.
yes, exactly. The smart Corey and Trevor, not the dumb Corey and Trevor. What's that called again? The Chit? A Chit?
The Chit, yeah. Maybe they were saying maybe I don't know. I think it's called the Chit. Yeah.
The Chit. Okay, I was trying to think. I was like, the hell's a Chit? I had no idea what that was. A Chit. What? How do you describe it again? I gotta look this up later.
It's like when they put the order through, it's like a machine that prints out the order in the back.
Okay, I got that now. I was like, wait, a Chit? Like that's a weird name. Okay, Chit happens, Uh,
I kept giggling every time that happened, and then Daniel looked at me and he goes, "You got to stop laughing." And I was like, "I'm sorry, I'm trying." And then Jimmy was like, "Abby, what are you laughing at?" I'm like, "The Chit." And he goes, "What's wrong with you? I'm gonna make you a Chit mixtape for Christmas."
oh my God. Well, that's what I mean by just keeping the energy going back there. Like
Yeah.
oh, it's so good. Do you have a favorite scene in particular? Like that was my favorite scene. Do you have one in particular, like whether it was your favorite to shoot or just one to watch? Like what was that for you?
My favorite to shoot was definitely in episode 4 when Andy and Matt go and check on Jeff, and they're like, "Hey, buddy, how you doing?" And he turns around and he's scrubbing the grill and he goes. And I guess people can't see that, but it's really funny. They should go back and do a watch of that. That was so funny because they let us improv and that at the end of that for so long, and like I think the last line was "You want to go with the smoke," and but we cut that out because I have asthma, so I can't smoke. So I think we changed it to something about mints. But then we just kept going after that, and it was so much fun to be able to improv. And I'm so proud that a line that I improv made it on the show. I think it went something like, he said, "You want to see how many mints we can fit in our mouth?" And then I said, "Okay, but I'm not doing the Heimlich on you again." And then he was like, "I just like the way it feels." And then I said, "If you want a hug, just ask." And I was so proud of that line that it made it in.
I had no idea that was improv. Oh my God, that was awesome. Yeah. That's awesome. My favorite line of yours throughout the whole show was, I can't remember exactly how it's worded, but it's when Jeff, Jimmy's character, is, he's depressed about his breakup, and then Taylor says something about, "Oh, let's hook him up or make a Tinder account." You're like, "I don't think we're ready for him to be that desperate." That was like funny. That was the funniest line. Oh my God, that was funny. I mean, as soon as you said that, I was like, "Geez, am I desperate? Like, what's going on?" It was so good. It was so well written. Oh my God. Well, just the whole show, like. As I said, it felt like it was just like one of those, like as Erica said, it was like a Trailer Park Boys meets I can't remember what it was again, but I said it felt a lot like Trailer Park Boys, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia kind of vibe. Like, what did you think? Like when you first read the premise, like what was your first take on it?
Well, I haven't seen Trailer Park Boys, so that's what everyone was telling me it was going to be like. But when I first read it, I was thinking more like Modern Family.
Okay.
Because of the mockumentary style.
Or like what other show does mockumentary? The Office does. Oh yeah, that's what it was. Trailer Park Boys meets The Office. Set in It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. That I think that's what she said. That was like a perfect depiction of what it was.
It really is, yeah.
But it's such a great show. It was like, I'm sure that you're so proud of how it turned out. If there were to do any more, I don't know like what the scoop is on it, but do you have any thoughts on like where you like to see the story go, or what do you hope happens? Like what do you have to say for that?
Yeah, I wrote some notes on this actually.
Oh, geez, look at that. She did her homework here.
Yeah.
She has a big fucking like Bible of stuff. All right, this is what we're doing here. That's my show notes.
Yeah, so I was one thing I think would be hilarious is if Jeff got sick and Matt and Andy had to run the back of the house. I think that would be a complete disaster. I think it would go horribly wrong. I think nothing would get done. I think that would just be hilarious. And another thing that I'd like to see in season 2, I wouldn't want Andy to have a love interest. I guess that's something I don't want to see in season 2, just because I don't think it's in her character, either to just date a coworker or like to even bring a significant other to work. Andy doesn't really care about her job, but I mean, secretly she does, but she would never let anyone know that. But she doesn't care enough about her job to let them into her personal life for sure.
Okay, that makes it. She's not ready to be that desperate.
Yeah, she's not ready to be that desperate.
That was so good. Any more ideas, Erica? If you're listening, by the way, and we are getting a season 2, please incorporate the Abby's ideas. They're great. Do you have any more for us?
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be really funny to see her butt heads with Zoe, because I think the personalities are just so opposite. Because Daniel kept saying this about my character when we were on set. He goes, "Andy doesn't care. Andy doesn't care." I kept repeating that in my head when I was playing her. And Zoe is just so almost cares about what she wants a little like so intensely, and she's just like so like in your face and like blunt. And I think that would just be so funny to see like her going like just going at it, Andy being like, yeah, whatever.
Yep. That's exactly it. That's exactly it. I love that. And Zoe, and I mean, like, shout out to you, by the way, too, Kristen. She was on the podcast as well, too. Like just her banter with everybody was just so, because I think that's the best part about it is that, and like with every sitcom that you see there, when there's all different personalities, it just that's a recipe for nothing but good stuff. Do you have any favorite sitcoms or anything like that you always look to for like inspiration when you're doing these types of roles?
Oh yeah, I mean, especially stuff with improv. I look at Modern Family and Community a lot. Community is such a good show, such a funny show. Yeah, those are the two big sitcoms that I'm watching right now. But character-wise, I don't know, I didn't really get much inspiration from a sitcom. I tried to mimic, not mimic, but like get a little bit of inspiration from Lip from Shameless.
Oh, okay.
A little bit, like just with the don't care attitude. I'm gonna do what I have to. The I really don't care what you think of me type thing.
I'm just here to do my job kind of thing, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I like that a lot. Actually, I haven't seen Shameless. I'm behind on so much shit that I got to catch up on. But
it's a good show.
Yeah. Oh no, absolutely. I hear lots of good stuff about that. I got to see that. But Abby, I gotta say, like, just everything that you've been doing, I think is great. I mean, with regards to, going, chasing your dreams, going for them. If there's anybody listening who's, they're an aspiring actor or whatever, what advice would you give to them?
Oh, that's a big question. I mean, there's so many things you could say, but the biggest thing I would say is like, just don't give up. And that sounds so generic and like and typical, but like no, like really though, like if you really want it, like chase after it, like look for those casting calls online, like go get headshots, send it into agents, like really chase after your dreams. Like, because like, what's the worst that can happen?
They say no.
Yeah, and then you're back where you started from, but that's okay.
Yes, exactly. But was there ever a time where you almost gave up and just said, like, you know what, maybe this isn't for me? Because I know there's lots of people who will get like that, and then people almost have to like talk them off the ledge. Like, was that you, or were you always just nope, just keep on going and keep trying?
When I was in high school, I decided more. I For some reason I decided I was going to go to medical school, so I kind of that didn't happen, by the way, but um, I went that route and kind of gave up on the acting dream, but it wasn't. It was funny. It's when I watched Black Widow and I watched Scarlett Johansson's performance, I was like, "Holy crap! This is what I need to be doing. This is my passion." I remembered all of the dreams I had as a kid, and it just came back to me, and ever since then I've been doing it. So.
Oh, that's awesome. Wow. Wow, that's great. Well, there's always that one movie you're like, I'm not going to do it anymore. That's it. You know, that ship has sailed. And then you watch that one movie, you're like, shit, what am I doing? You know?
Yeah.
And for you, that was Black Widow. When you said you started a member and stuff, I thought you were going to say, I remembered all the lines and stuff like that, and I just started quoting it. I thought that's what you were going to say.
I can quote it a little bit.
You quote a little bit. Yeah, there we go. Give us something. No. You're not on the spot. I won't put you on the spot. But Abby, so as we're kind of wrapping up here, thank you so much for coming on the show today. Thank you for just giving an awesome performance. It was awesome to see you on the show. Congratulations on it. And do you have any final words you'd like to say to the people listening who watched O'Donn's?
Just thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope we get to make a season 2 for you.
Bell Fibe, if you're listening, if anybody of you are listening, please make it happen. So guys, we are going to take a short break. We'll be right back. But until then, this is Franky and Abby signing off. Thank you so much, Abby.
Thanks for having me.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Corcoran Entertainment Show. That was me and Abby Slipp. Thank you so much, Abby, for coming on. Big fan. And definitely, guys, be sure to check out O'Donn's on Bell Fibe TV-1. And all 5 episodes are available on there. And be sure to leave some support, follow her on Instagram, all that stuff. So moving on to our solo discussions for today, I wanted to, now this was kind of inspired. I just read an article from Collider, and it's 10 canceled shows that deserve another season according to Reddit. And it's kind of funny that this, I'll just be scrolling on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, stuff like that, and these articles will just pop up that are older. Now, this is an older article. I mean, it was from last year, so it's not crazy old. But anyways, I read it, and it kind of got me hit. Reddit, pun, because that's according to Reddit. That's stupid. Anyways, so it really just got me thinking, and that's kind of what inspired this topic today, which is canceled shows that deserve another season. At least in my opinion. Now, these are just my opinion. I mean, it's kind of funny when you go through a lot of lists online and you're like, I never saw that show. I have no opinion on it. Collider's list is number 10 was Mindhunter. I never watched that. 9, Firefly. I never watched that. 8, Pushing Daisies. I never watched that. 7, Freaks and Geeks. I've seen clips of it. I haven't really watched every single episode. Funny show. But it only lasted 2 years, 1999 to 2000. That's insane. And it's just so crazy to see the picture here right now of Linda Cardellini and Seth Rogen. It's just unreal. And James Franco too. Where is James Franco now? Where the hell is that guy? And then what else is on there? Santa Clarita Diet is number 6. I've never seen that. Drew Barrymore. Teen Titans, number 5. 4, Rome. 3, Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency. 2, Dead Like Me. and number 1 is Venture Bros, which is from Adult Swim. So I really didn't really have much opinion. I mean, like, really, I guess the closest one on here, I guess, is Freaks and Geeks. But it's just crazy when you actually look at it and just think how many canceled TV shows there are out there that you're like, how did this not continue? How did this not even get one more season to just kind of wrap things up? So it kind of got me thinking. You know, I was trying to come up with a list. There is one that would be number 1. Like, it's really, really hard to make a list. So I was just like, you know what? I just said I'm not gonna bother counting some down, or like, you know, from like what's important and what's not. I'm just gonna, you know, just go with my, just spitball some, ramble a bit, and then I'll give the one show that I think truly, truly did deserve another season. First one that I can think of right now is Bloodline was a big one. That was, of course, a Netflix drama series. Kyle Chandler, Ben Mendelsohn, Linda Cardellini, of course, from Freaks and Geeks. John Leguizamo was in there. Sissy Spacek. Great show. The first 2 seasons were excellent. The first one was absolutely, I was shocked by how good season 1 was. Season 2 was also fantastic. It wasn't as good as season 1, but it was still great. Season 3 started off good, but you knew that because that they had the show had been canceled, like they knew going into season 3 that it was going to be canceled, and you can tell they had seasons worth of story that they were going to follow and embark on, and because of that, we didn't get to see the conclusion of it. Like we never got to see a proper finite conclusion that left us satisfied. I mean, I guess to a degree it was kind of a conclusion, but it was really just very rushed. I think maybe even just one more season would have been good. But also what I don't really get about that show is that they say, oh, you know, we had time to prepare since we knew that this was the final season. It's like, okay, but I mean, they could have done a much better job. I mean, I get it that it was kind of a tough situation that they were canceled. What are you going to do? But I don't know. I really think that even just one more season, even just if Netflix, I mean, like, I think it has something to do with, and we were talking earlier about the Nova Scotia tax credit. I think there was something else going on with Florida with tax credits, and that's why that ultimately led to it being canceled. So that right there, I can completely understand, but I don't know. There's just part of me, I'm like, really? I mean, even if they had like I don't know, a few more episodes, like given the final season 3 more episodes, because it was just like, okay, 3 episodes, we had to wrap it up all in now. Okay, I won't spoil anything for anyone who hasn't seen it. I still recommend Bloodline to anybody who is looking for a good TV show to watch. It's absolutely fantastic, very Breaking Bad like, and it's absolutely stellar. But it's just a shame that the ending just got so rushed because of Netflix canceling it. And that's, you know, it's unfortunate, but what can you do? So another one that comes to mind is F is for Family, is one that comes to mind. You can tell that they had so much story that they wanted to do. Like, it just seemed like same thing with Bloodline. They had the first half of the season, everything was going good, and then they realized, oh shit, that's right, we're canceled, we got to wrap this up, and it just went blah, 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 blah. And don't get me wrong, the F is for Family ending was still good. It didn't ruin the show or nothing like that, but I was still kind of like, you could tell that there was more story there. I feel like they could have gotten more out of it, and really that's nothing against the creators of the show and the writers. That's not their call. Like, that's the funny part about people. They think that the actors are the ones who pull the plug. Now, some shows that is the case. Sometimes they do say, like, for example, Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad. Vince Gilligan, Peter Gould, they wanted to end it at 5-6 seasons. That's it, done. With a show like F is for Family, I mean, I see on Twitter, I follow I can't remember his name. One of the co-creators, not Bill Burr. I can't remember his name now. But anyways, I follow him on Twitter. Mike Price is his name. Mike Price. I follow him on Twitter. And he'll always say, like, we had lots of stories planned and this and that. And, like, he'll reply to lots of people who will say, oh, like, when's season 6 coming? He's just like, we're like essentially is what he's saying is we want to make it, but it's up to the studios if they want us to make it. And to me, I'm just like, come on, Netflix, really? Come on. Like, just give them another season. You can't help but think that sometimes. But that's one also that comes to mind. And another thing that I think is something important to keep in mind when it comes to cancellations of shows is that it has nothing to do with the creators. That's the thing. It's not like the creators and the writers woke up one morning and said, I don't really feel like doing this show anymore. Let's just end it. It's not like, no, like that's not it at all. There's a lot of factors to it. There's money, there's so much behind the scenes that leads up to it being canceled. Also, like ratings, you know what I mean? Like, is this losing us money? Are people even watching it? What's the point in doing it if no one's going to watch it? So any TV show, I don't think anybody intentionally pulls the plug on it. It's normally a network decision or a studio decision to end it, depending on ratings and budgeting, all that stuff. So that's really what it comes down to. But which is the case with, of course, like I mentioned, Bloodline and F is for Family. Now, F is for Family, I don't know, like it seemed to be like it was doing well. Now I have no inside information on that. I don't know. For as far as I know, they were bombing. I don't know. But so yeah, that's my thoughts on that. And some people say Big Bang Theory. I've heard people saying Big Bang Theory should have got more seasons. I don't think it should have. To me, I mean, like, I guess the series was okay as it got into like season 6 and stuff. I'm like to me, like the first 4 seasons, I think were just golden. I thought they're golden, and that's how it is with every single show. The first like 4 or 5 seasons are golden, and then it kind of drops off in quality after that. Simpsons dropped off in quality after season 10, something like that. I'm not going to give my thoughts on that because I mean that could be a whole other discussion for another time. And same with Family Guy. But that's where I stand on that. I think Big Bang Theory got its run. They maybe went on a little bit too long, but now I mean we're getting all these spin-offs with it, so I mean I guess there's still some story left. But anyways, that's enough of that. Now, what's the number one? Like I know, like I said, I was kind of just spitballing a whole bunch. There's a whole bunch that I can list off. And there's another one. Under the Dome was a show that I really, really loved. First season was really good. Second season was not as good. Season 3 was like, what the fuck happened here? And I'm like, okay, it doesn't deserve another season. With that, I wouldn't even say that show doesn't even deserve a 4th season because it's like they butchered it so bad from like the start of season 3 right up until the end that I'm like, you don't even, okay, like that's it. I don't even care to see what happens next. The story was just butchered. They left it open in a way that I guess when they wrote it, they didn't think that they were going to get renewed. So they just said, okay, we're going to give it kind of a definitive ending, but also set it up. Even still, it wasn't satisfying. And I'm like, the show was butchered so bad, I don't even freaking care. I don't care about it anymore. So that's Under the Dome, which is a shame because, you know, the book's great. It started off awesome, had great potential, but it just didn't pan out. So the number one show that I'm going to say, and I can't believe it's not on any of these lists I haven't seen, My Name is Earl. I've been rewatching some episodes on Disney Plus. Why, man? I just think, oh, man. I think, without a doubt, My Name is Earl, I think, is in my top 10 shows of all time. I really do. It is so fantastic. And so immensely underrated, too. Like, people might say, oh, like, it was a huge hit and everything. I don't hear people talking about My Name is Earl much, which is a shame. Like, just rewatching it, it's such a good show. I'm like, fuck. And it was canceled because of just studio disagreements. It was something to do with, I read, it was an interview with Ethan Suplee, who played Randy, said that basically they had it all planned out and everything. They got renewed for a 5th season. And then all of a sudden there was a dispute with the studio and the network over money, and then that led to it being canceled. But it was like, shit, man. And it wasn't even an ending, too. That was the worst part. It was a cliffhanger setting up for the next season, and then we didn't even get to see it because it got canceled. Just so disappointing. So disappointing. And anybody who says anything about like, oh, this show deserves another season, I'm like, okay, that's your opinion. My opinion, it's got to be My Name is Earl. Anyone who hasn't seen it, be sure to check it out. I really do think, I mean, some might think it's crazy. It's in my top 10 shows of all time. I think that show is excellent. I love that show. And even just a reunion movie. And I found it crazy too, because I think it was in that same interview that I mentioned. Ethan Suplee said that there's no interest. Like they pitch potential sequels and crossover and stuff like that to studios, and there's no interest to do it. I'm like, me? Like, my God, if I had millions of dollars, I'd be like, yeah, make 10 more seasons, you know? Anyways, yeah, even just to give it, like, even just a little, like, I don't know, Netflix movie or something like that, just some short film, just to end it, just to give it a proper conclusion, because the ending that they had set in mind was perfect, and I just really think that they got to wrap it up. They got to wrap it up in some way. But anyways, I've kind of been rambling on about that topic long enough. Definitely, guys, be sure to let me know your thoughts. What canceled TV shows do you think deserve another season? Definitely be sure to let me know your thoughts. Now, I want to get on to the next topic, the last solo discussion today, which is one of the best actors, I think, alive, like best actors working today, Giancarlo Esposito. It's just crazy. Like, literally everything you see nowadays, he's everywhere. I mean, of course, Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul are the two for me. Gus Fring is, at one point, was my number one villain of all time until Lalo Salamanca surpassed him in Better Call Saul. But I mean, like, damn, he is fantastic. He was, of course, in The Mandalorian. He was in Far Cry 6. He was in, he has his new show, Parish, which I've seen the premiere. I haven't seen the others yet. I'm still planning on catching up when I get time. He's excellent. He's absolutely fantastic. Now we've learned that he is going to be in the MCU. Now, who he's playing, that's an interesting thing. Now, first off, I'm like, there's really no better actor who could be doing this right now. I mean, especially, it's not just the biggest franchise in the world, but also it's never a mistake to add talent. You have a talented actor who is joining a huge franchise. That's always a good thing. And so who might he be? Now, of course, we wondered, they announced it, that he was going to be in the MCU. We didn't know what. And now we hear that he was on set for Captain America Brave New World. At the time of this recording, let me just double check. I don't think there's any more updates on that. I'm just going to check here because I could finish this episode and then go, oh shit, they just announced who he's playing. And then, no, they don't really. All we know is that he's on set, and we don't know who he's going to be playing. But I wanted to talk just a little bit about, really, no matter what, he can do anything. He can do anything. There's, of course, the man who created Wolverine, William Stryker. That's one that the Screen Rant thinks. Paladin, a Marvel assassin and Daredevil villain. Kang the Conqueror. Yeah, this is the one that I was thinking of. Because, he could be playing anybody. But, of course, with the whole controversy going on with Jonathan Majors, I'm starting to think maybe he's going to be playing Kang. Just makes sense. Because, look, when you think about it, it's, multiverse and anybody can come back. Hell, Hugh Jackman's back as Wolverine. We have, who else do we have that's come back? Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield. There's rumors that we might be getting Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr. back. So it really could be playing anybody. He really, really could. But if I had to bet $20 on it, I'd say Kang. To me, that's who. Now, I don't know. Like, now, I'm hearing a few different things. One hand, I hear that they're just going to scrap Kang altogether. One hand, I'm hearing they're going to continue on with Kang and just recast him. I don't know what they're going to do. Jeez, it's tough to say. I'm going to say Kang. I'm just going to stick with Kang because, I just think they've already set it up well. I just think it's a no-brainer to just have him be Kang. And I just think the timing is a bit too, not coincidental, but I'm not sure how big of a coincidence it is because, Jonathan Majors is found guilty, this and that, Marvel drops him, and then now a few months later, Giancarlo Esposito is joining the MCU in a mysterious role. You got one of the most badass actors working today. Yeah, it just makes sense that it would be Kang. And my thoughts on the casting, it'd be perfect. It would be spot on perfect. Now, there was one rumor going around that Coleman Domingo, of course, was going to do it. That was just a rumor, as far as I know. I mean, I think he said, like, of course I joined the MCU kind of thing. But if I had to choose between Coleman Domingo and Giancarlo Esposito, probably Giancarlo Esposito. I just think, nothing against Coleman Domingo. He's a terrific, terrific actor, Oscar-nominated actor now. But I don't know. There's just something about Giancarlo Esposito, and especially like just his level of power now, where he's like one of the biggest stars in the world. It's just gonna, it just fits. It fits too well not to, like, that's got to be who he's playing. That's just my opinion, but I really don't know who else it could be. But we'll see what happens. I kind of wanted to just give my thoughts on it, and there's lots, like, I see maybe Scorpio. They say he could be playing Scorpio. He could be playing who's the other one I saw here? Doctor Doom, which Doctor Doom I could see too. And Norman Osborn, maybe. That could be a good one. But anyways, that's just my thoughts on that. Definitely, guys, be sure to let me know what you think. And so, guys, we're going to call it there for the show today. I want to thank my guest, Abby Slipp, for coming on. Be sure to check out Dawn's on Bell Fibe TV-1 and follow her on Instagram and all that stuff. Thank you guys so much for listening to the show. If you're listening to it on, Spotify or whatever, just leave a nice review for us on Apple Podcasts or wherever you leave reviews at. Spread the word. We love to get more listeners. And, thank you guys just for supporting us. Thank you for just taking the time to listen. So we'll be back next week, this week, maybe. We might be back this week. I don't know. We'll see. But we will see you in the next episode. Let's just say that. Thank you guys. See you next time. Until then, this is Franky signing off. Have a great week, everybody.